Hi, everybody. This is Bart Sharp of Becoming Quantum Conscious on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 105.3 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. We're also on Roku, YouTube, and other platform sites all around the world. And today we are in a very special location. The internet moves around. So we are in the Third Eye Meditation Lounge at Casa de Luz in Austin, Texas.
We are here.
We are here. And so it's going to be a little rowdy tonight. I got two rowdy guests with me.
We're here to play.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Indeed. And we're here to talk about the Mycelium Network.
Yes.
And all the
It's all
amazing
about the
powers of that.
Mycelium. It's all about the Mycelium.
It's all about that. And
It's all connected.
it's like one door opening another internally.
Yes, and that is a very interesting concept. We're all interconnected. Now, if you listen to or watch the television show Star Trek Discovery, they talk about the Mycelium Network, and of course the ship flying all through outer space through Mycelium networks, and they're not really off. They're spot on with that type of science because Mycelium network is everywhere.
Yes, we are made of it.
And we are made of it. That's a very good comment.
Oldest living organism, really, that dates 200 million years older than plants.
Not only that, it's the most abundant organism on our planet in terms of actual mass. It inhabits the whole world, really.
In every 1 inch of Earth, there's 8 miles of mycelium.
Yes, and so maybe for some of you, this is a real wake-up call to that you're connected to something that is everywhere, like a higher power almost. But we're not talking about spirituality today. We're talking about the Mycelium network and mushrooms. And our guest today is Neil Ryan Dumra, right over here.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for having me on, Bart.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Neil's been on my show a few times. I don't know anybody that knows so much information. He has a great store here in the Third Eye Network, of which you can order all types of products here. They'll send them your way.
I don't even like to call them products. I call them coherence tools.
Coherence tools.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
And to my right, or maybe it's on your left, I'm not for sure, we have Stephen Huntsman. He is the owner, CEO, or something like that.
The steward.
Steward.
The steward and founder.
High Vibe Mushrooms. You can buy this in a package with 10 different mushrooms. You tell about it. You get sure about it.
You can buy them here at the Third Eye Lecture Lounge. If you're here in Austin, come on down and see us. We're live. We're live from the Third Eye Lecture Lounge, right here off Toomey in Austin, Texas, at the Casa de Luz Village. And Neil, my brother here, I've known since the beginning. We like to joke around and say from the beginning when we were learning English. So we always joke around. Neil was actually Neil and the Third Eye Lecture Lounge was actually our very, very first store that we offered the high-fi mushrooms, high-fi mushrooms limitless. And now we're very fortunate. We sell all over the world online, multiple stores here in Austin as we myceliate around the world. And so Third Eye Lecture Lounge is a very warm place in my heart and our heart with, again, what Neil was saying about, this is not your regular store. This is really where you can come to have the most optimal compounds and products really for the best ever lifestyle.
Yeah, it's plant medicine really, and same as the mushrooms, right? And it's what nurtures us, right? Every day we consume the mushrooms, it creates something. Every time we consume anything, it has an after effect, and everything here is symbiotic. It can be used as soils, essentially. That's what I mean. It's important from head to toe how we consume everything, from stuff for the mind, stuff for the heart, stuff for the gut. I mean, the mushrooms are so good for all of that. The reason why we incorporate cacao so much is because it helps us tap in back into that joy, the oxytocin. And so these are all tools for coherence. As we become less inflamed, more spirit-based humans, we dissolve that egoistic way of being, and it becomes a symbiotic community lifestyle. And if you come to Casa de Luz, you notice that. We see each other's faces all the time. So at the end of the day, like we learn to love each other for all the different ways in which we show up. And that's kind of how the Mycelium network works too. It's about connection and bridging those connections in all sorts of freaking crazy fun ways. We grow and we die, and so does fungus. And as it evolves, it grows into stronger roots, and then the platform of life becomes stronger. And we got 100 years to live, and our biome is so important. And that's what this is about, really, that grounded presence. And that's kind of where me and Steven collaborated on, is cacao, with only cacao and mushrooms. And it's really one of our hits. People realize, in order to be grounded, we got to be heart-centered. And in order to do that, we got to connect with our heart, gut, and our mind. It's not just caffeine boosts and coffee and constant work. We get to slow down to speed up. And I feel like that's the journey we're on here.
That's a beautiful word, coherence, which reminds me of basically what happens when you have the mushroom. There is an effect every time you have something put in your body. And there's three really main things that happen that we're really looking for. It's mental clarity. We're looking for mental clarity, brain function, our brain to be boosted and modulated, adaptogenic energy. And then secondly, we want to feel good. And then the third pillar, really these are the staples. Everything else we can look at is really entertainment or something that we're really going to have to detoxify that does not necessarily have a coherence as the elements that are available here at Third Eye Elixir Lounge. So the third staple of really why we nourish ourselves, and you can define nourishment however you want, with the energy that's coming into you, but the most important decision that we make is what goes in our mouth and out of our mouth, really. So with these three pillars of mental clarity, brain function, you want to feel good. I want to feel good. If it's going in my mouth, I want to feel good. I don't want to take a nap. That's a sedative. That's not something that's keeping you going. The third pillar is the most popular subject on the planet now, is our immune system. So you can boost your immune system, feel better with dopamine activation, have mental clarity with medicinal mushrooms. And so that's what we love to share with High Vibe Mushrooms Limitless, and kind of went off there a little bit. But Bart, you were asking about the mushrooms. And so High Vibe Mushrooms Limitless, we have a proprietary blend of 10 mushrooms. And we work with one of the world's leading top mycologists who's been working with these particular tissues for over 30 years. And so we're very, very honored to be sharing these mushrooms. And it's a powder that can go into anything. And back to your great word, coherence, Neil, which I just love that, because that's what we're really looking for when you're looking for healing, or you're looking at relationships, or you're looking to nourish yourself. You're looking for a coherence. You're really looking for a harmony. And when you turn to Mother Nature, what is Mother Nature doing all the time? It's always in this coherent harmony dance with this sort of thrivability. It has this harmony with reaching into the ground for the nutrients, or finding that sunlight right here coming through. That there's a harmony. You put up a wall, and that plant will find a way, that dandelion will find a way to find that sunlight or that nourishment. So what's going on there? Harmony, a coherence with this dimension. And that's what we're really looking for. So we work with veterans and postpartums and veterans and different folks going through different traumas. And what they're thinking, what we really, when you want to get right down to it, we're looking for that coherence and we're looking for harmony.
100%. It's like this podcast. It's called Becoming Quantum Consciousness. And in this whole spirituality path, people are all about ascending, but really it's about grounding and really bringing it down to this dimension. And to your point, the mycelium network, there wouldn't be cacao without the mushrooms. Like the communication, it's like the midges communicate so that the actual the seeds can be pollinated. The actual jungle has a very vibrant nature that you can kind of see more palpably. And obviously, in more industrial states, you don't see as much. But when you come to Casa, you see it because it's intentionally put here. And that's kind of the life we want to look at, and create again. Back to nature. It all comes back, and it's the soil. It's really where things grow. And as soon as we become back into a permaculture state, we grow without having to take a lot of things, and need a lot of things. Our body starts alchemizing constantly because we're in that quantum, that realm, that consciousness. And at the end of the day, coherence, right? Why do we want to even become coherent? Well, because at the end of the day, we become more vaguely toned. And why do we want to become vaguely toned? To become more resilient to life. We don't want to become afraid of allergies. We want to become more resistant and actually more immune to it.
So can you explain vaguely tone, what that means?
Yeah. So the fascia, which is our nervous system, really, it's everything except the bones. It carries basically our whole life. And all the traumas, not just our life trauma, past life trauma, all sorts of things. And as we become more resilient, as we start working through some of those things, our whole being becomes liberated from past stuff, things that are not actually serving this current realm and state. And that's what really it is. It's about. It's like feeling and healing. And it's not disassociating from the being. It's like loving being so much so that you can feel it all. And that's kind of what being quantum is feeling it all, knowing it all.
Yes.
It is an interconnectedness, and that's what mushrooms are doing. They're growing everywhere, whether they're popping out of the ground or they're just underneath the earth. And they're also a healing part of the earth. Wherever you have earth that is toxic, if there's mushrooms growing there, they will begin the cleansing processes so the earth becomes healthy again.
Yeah, it's like it almost. So talk about mushrooms, even psilocybin mushrooms, or even regular mushrooms. When they interact in the biome, it's like almost like think about a village. It's almost like a new energy comes into the village, and the way in which the biome interacts changes. So it actually helps shift personality and all sorts of things because the consciousness goes into the gut. And all of a sudden, it's seeing from an empathic place. No longer is it seeing it from the headspace, which is right, wrong, good, bad, which you know so much about. You're not duality thinking. So from consciousness here, you feel. And from that place, you love. And that's kind of why we do those things. Why do we go in? So we can see from the inside out what's blocking us from love.
So what you're saying is the more that you're healthier and you're having products that create this integration, this coherence, your life is going to grow.
100%. I mean, there's no blocks between you and your heart. As you clear that stuff, it just becomes more open, unconditional.
Yes.
Oxytocin, baby. Let's go.
That's it. And what, again, we mentioned this before, and we're talking about how this interaction with this particular fungi, plants are about 5% similar to human DNA. Mushrooms are 50% similar human DNA and 60% similar human RNA. So what does that mean? So we know our DNA is our blueprint, make hair this color, their eyes that color, and our RNA is our delivery system. So when we have this coding, because that's what's going on here, if you want to really break it down to like a scientific biological thesis here, that's what happens when you nourish yourself. You're getting a coding which unlocks certain keys in your body, and cells and mitochondria are activated. And
ATP, let's go.
There we go. And so when we have that DNA blueprint, that RNA, that delivery system of Mother Earth, you're getting that harmony, you're getting that coherence that Mother Earth has. And again, that's really just the major take-home point of the benefits of these mushrooms, and to continually take these, because here's what's going on. We all know this, we're constantly making new cells. Our body is rejuvenating, we're making new cells all the time. And these cells have keys in them. And so when these keys are activated and turned on by the power of these medicinal mushrooms, that's when the oomph happens. That's when the benefits really happen. It's not like you're stacking something on that's coming into the body. It's something that's activating your body. So it's a true symbiosis again, and coherence.
And it really is one of those things when it comes to the Western world. It's an approach where it allows your receiver to turn on and stay grounded.
Yes.
So when we talk about, the masculine energy, it's like you're doing, then you kind of have to root down and really open up the feminine side and allow that receiver to come in. And without mushrooms, it's pretty much impossible. Your gut biome will not be able to tolerate all the stuff that's happening. And that's why it's super important to start taking mushrooms. Literally, take them every day. It'll change the way you feel on an internal level, on an emotional level.
So can you explain gut biome in a more practical way?
Yeah, so think about your stomach and all the acids and fluids and all the things you're consuming. There's actually a family inside there, whether you like it or not. There's a whole village actually.
We're hosting them.
Yeah, and what's happening is sometimes they're conscious, sometimes they're unconscious. And as we become more coherent with how we consume, what's more symbiotic to our being, we start consuming the right stuff, we start feeling better, and our cells start communicating at a much more quantum rate. So the communication isn't like days, it's like seconds. So all of a sudden, you're able to get coherent very quickly. It's kind of like it's like one day could be 3 days in certain ways in the quantum realm when it comes to our gut biome. So, and as we become more solid in this area, our empathic body becomes less vulnerable. Okay, so we become strong there, and that's why people talk about abs and all this stuff. Yeah, it actually is important, because as you become solid here, you're not taking on other people's shit. You're actually holding your own center, and you're getting rooted. And so that's how coherence starts. You can't. It's the bottom up approach versus the top down approach. And that's kind of how you heal it. You got to start there.
So if you want to have a more efficient brain, you want to have a better operating gut.
That's right.
Yes.
They all go together. And so much about the evolution of our brain and our neurological processes begin in our stomach. If you want to be smarter, more psychic, more aware, and more living in a quantum type of consciousness,
Let me say one more point. When you become more efficient in your body, sometimes if you don't have the right mushrooms in your body, you're going to be taking a lot of expensive poops, which are vitamins, basically because the absorption is not happening. And then also, you're going to be eating without actually getting the right nutrients. So it's like mushrooms help that. It creates the activity down there, which you need that.
I'm glad you reminded me of something that too. There's 5 million types of mushrooms out there, and mushrooms are postured right now to be bigger than the CBD industry. Mushrooms are really becoming popular now. It's really kind of funny because there's one mushroom that dates back to 1.2 billion years old, and again, they're 200 million years older than plants. So it's kind of humorous when we're saying, oh, well, mushrooms are becoming popular now, but in Asian countries, they've been revered for forever, really.
Chinese medicine.
Yeah, it's medicine, plant medicine. Medicine is your food be the medicine, and medicine be your food. But what's very critical, it's hypercritical, is when you're looking at mushrooms. I talk to people every day about mushrooms. Every day I'm talking to people who say, hey, Huntsman, I'm already on mushrooms. I don't want to hear about your mushrooms. And I have to ask them, with all due respect, where were they sourced? What were they grown on? Is it full spectrum? It's critical. There's actually major lawsuits going on right now in the United States between the largest mushroom suppliers on the fruiting body versus the mycelium, when there's nothing to be farther than the truth that there's nothing in the mycelium. Most all the companies out there, the mushroom companies out there, they only use the flower, the fruiting body, which plant it grows and the flower comes out. People make that into a powder and then they sell it. They say, oh, this is the mushroom. There's nothing in the mycelium, which I don't even understand how anyone could even logically think how there's nothing in the mycelium when there's more studies done on it, first of all. But it's how it just makes perfect sense, how it's the internet of the planet, how it's the intelligence operating system of Mother Earth, how it's sending information and nutrients. This isn't any hippie woo-woo. This is hard science where plants, mushrooms are sequestered, studied, and one plant is given some different virus or disease. The healthier one will send it over nutrients. And so what's critical to remember, especially with our mushrooms, and when you're looking for mushrooms, is to assure that they are full spectrum, meaning the fruiting body, the flower, and the mycelium. And then when you want to go deep, you want to know what they're grown on too. You're looking at what substrate they're grown on. And very critical is third-party testing and certifications, okay? You get mushrooms if they're from nefarious sources or you're not crystal clear on if they're certified kosher, or they're certified non-genetically modified, they're certified organic, vegan, every certification you can possibly think of is what we're doing with High Mushrooms Limitless. But on top of that, we third-party test every single batch, so anything ever goes wrong or whatever, we can know, look at the batch and see if something's going to make sure there's no toxins or heavy metals or anything like that. So getting that full spectrum is really critical. And one thing that you reminded me of about the heart coherence and relationships and our intuition. People ask me all the time, well, what am I going to feel? What's going on? It's almost something that, to put into words, it's a little challenging, but there's a connectivity, just like this connectivity between, grasp this concept right now. This is a mother lode of a concept. 100% of everything, 100% of everything on the earth plane, on Earth, comes from Mother Earth. There's nothing that is popped down and come in from, well, maybe there's something that Bart knows of that has some magical mysteries that come from other realms and such, but 100% everything, whatever it is, whatever it might be, it came from Mother Earth. And so there's this intelligence there, and there's this connectivity, which I have personally found. Like Neil and I, we have this, we just we'll look at each other, it's like there's a connectivity. I'll find that when I meet strangers or just anybody really, is that I really feel a connectivity. Bart and I, we've had those conversations and connections as well, where there's just something that you connect, and there's this flow, and it truly is magical. And I just leave it there because I just feel really strongly that we're connected here, brothers. And I'm just grateful for this time.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, too, talk about trauma and healing. It's one of those things that helps slow down the nervous system, and allow it to heal. Just like oxytocin, we need fibers and all sorts of material for our body to alkalize. And mushroom is a great builder, literally on a physical form. It helps the brain with lion's mane. There's certain types of mushrooms that literally go to the body and nourish it on a deep physical level. And it's like a scientific thing that's been proven. So it just never ends with these things. Mushrooms are here for us. It's a symbiotic relationship for humans.
Thank you, mushrooms.
And when you live in America, I spent part of my time in Europe, which has a totally different reality in their food supply. It's more organic. There's no GMOs over there, very little of them. Just about everything you can eat, whereas so many people in America right now are struggling with inflammation or gut disorder, or just the list goes on and on of all the health issues that come up. and we're always looking for products that are pure and natural. And mushrooms are one of those products that when you get, it's in my opinion, when you get to the smaller based businesses, you're more likely to get a truer quality product.
You know, it's funny you said that. I don't even know if it's smaller based businesses. I think it's, you know, one thing that me and Steven have in common is we have passion. And it's one of those things where, you know, when you have a fire inside you, just like our digestive fire, we're able to burn through stuff that's not serving. So we're able to stay in our light a lot of times. You know, we keep fighting that good fight, right? And so when you create a brand or create a company, it's basically one of those relationships that you have with something you're sharing that's beyond our personality. It's kind of internal. It's kind of like, this is something we're here to do, and there's nothing going to stop us, you know. And the reason why is because we believe in it truly, and so
We're walking the walk.
Yeah,
exactly. This is our life.
Yeah,
This is
our life. It's a dedication, and it's truly a practice too, because you know you want to be graceful with giving something you love to the world. And we're constantly learning how to do that. Even in this practice right now, we're talking about it and we're learning, you know, how so many ways this thing has impacted our own lives. You know, we all consume this stuff. You know,
we're the spokespeople.
Yeah,
this is our lifestyle.
Yeah,
This is,
exactly.
I just think you come in here. It's like Neil's always here. I'm popping in as much as I can. Sweet Bart here. It's actually where I met you, Bart.
This is a sitcom in itself, you know.
Totally, we need this 24/7.
And the thing that reminds me like the most, it's like a healthy version of Cheers, where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. And really, you know, we're drinking cacao and having mushrooms and doing all these awesome things, and it's fun. It's really,
come join the party. Get on down here to the Third Eye Elixir Lounge.
And yes, and this is an experiment for today of having a live show in a store, and people are mixing up cacao drinks, washing dishes, having conversations.
People are saying hello, walking by. Hey, Al, you're on a show. Yeah, that's important.
And we just wanted to get a different spin on it with you. I'm going to turn the computer around. And,
y'all can be a part of it for a second.
Now, the little store here.
The audience here.
And
We got
that's
a live studio audience here. Live podcast.
That's why we're having so much.
There's going to be
noise.
300,000 people seeing you, so.
Yeah. So all of that is part of the process today. As I think about it, it's kind of like the Mycelium network. We're all integrated in this whole big whole of all the noises, extraneous that we have no control over. It's much like how the earth operates. It's always fusing together. And also, just to let everybody know, you are on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Also, we broadcast out of Roku, YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms all around the world. And where shall we go next with this, gentlemen?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I mean, there's so many health issues that, you know, I was just putting down health issues of mushrooms. I'll just read through these really quick. Health benefits, aging, more potent brain, mood elevation, heart health, strength, bones, more energy. When I started using limitless mushrooms, this is what Stephen manufactures and creates and sells, I found that my energy would be strong to the end of the day. Now, I'm not the youngest pup out there, but if I didn't use mushrooms, I would be tired by 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And now it's 8, 9, 10 o'clock.
Bart, I'd like to jump in right there. And what's really fascinating about the consciousness really and energy of these mushrooms is that they're a modulated adaptogenic energy. So as opposed to a caffeine or a cacao, like I'm a cacao fanatic. I could live off cacao and mushrooms. I think I have for a while. I think Neil and I have done that for lengths of time, and and actually feel better than ever. I mean, it is truly magical. It can be done. We're actually going to do a documentary on that, just with cacao and mushrooms. It's kind of like the super size me, but super mushroom me and cacao me. We're working on that one. But back to the consciousness and the effectiveness of mushrooms. Modulation. What does that mean? It modulates to your body. Adaptogenic. What does adapt? It means it adapts to what's going on here. So people say, "Oh, well, can I have these at night?" Absolutely, because your body knows. Your body's a miracle. It's this factory, and it's 100% of the time. 100% of the time, always on a cleanse or always on a detoxification. People go, "Hey, Huntsman, what cleanse are you on now? Or what detox are you doing now?" And I'm like, your body is always, what is your blood doing? It's always cleansing. What is your GI tract, your liver, kidney, gallbladder? It's 24/7, always working away. You got this factory inside, it's just like chugging away and just like cleaning away and working away on you. So it knows what to do with the nourishment, the energy, the fuel that you put in the body, and so it adapts to what you need. There's actually a very different way that I use the mushrooms that a mentor of mine does all the time. You can actually pack the powder into your molars right before you go to bed, and it soaks up into the perigonals while you're sleeping and just goes into town, goes to town on you. So that's just one other example of the effectiveness of this, and really to the consciousness of the mushrooms. Because again, Bart, you needed the energy. You're getting the energy. I'm like, I need this. I'm looking to do something. I need some more mental clarity. I want to feel a little better. Something maybe heavy on me now, or whatever. I'm just feeling something is heavy on me. Boom! I take the mushrooms, and they go to town on me.
Yeah. I mean, you almost sound like you're talking about psychedelic mushrooms, which we're not bringing up on this topic today.
We're not psychedelic. Yeah, we're not. I just want to make that clear.
We're not canceling any possibility out today. However, mushrooms do improve our neurological function in our brain. That was one of the things that the movie Fabulous Fungi talks about. Is
Fantastic
Fungi. It's about the caveman eating mushrooms, and they were postulating that was why their brain advanced.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just like any kind of nutrient that takes something from seed to sprout, and it does that for the human consciousness. So it actually has that nurturing effect of soil in some form, where it creates a grounding effect for a being to feel so safe and loved and nurtured on a cellular level that evolution can take place systematically and effectively.
Yes. Thank you so much, Neil, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why people do the psychedelic ones.
Yeah. Jump back on that. I get that question pretty much every day. Hey, am I going to trip, man? Are these psychedelic? And the answer is not in a psychedelic way. These mushrooms are not a psychedelic toxin in them. Again, they are every certification you can ever possibly get, certified organic, but they are a nootropic, so they do affect your brain and accumulate on and help unlock those keys for mental clarity, brain function. When maybe not a psychedelic, overwhelming experience, but when you're turned on and your brain is functioning and you're crystal clear and your brain is boosted, it's not a psychedelic experience, but you're seeing colors. The crystals are brighter. You're younger. It's like this vibrant color. There's an awakening going on, and you are experiencing more because you're present, really. And that's actually one of the definitions of being enlightened, is being present. You're crystal present. You're receiving this energy. These colors are coming in. and you're coming from right this present moment, not what happened before here, where did I park, where am I going after the show, what's going on. When we're present, we're tapped in.
So what you're saying is this will facilitate your light body becoming more present in your consciousness. In other words, that's part of what quantum consciousness is learning how really there's a lightness in your body that almost feels like a light inside of you. You know, when you think of the picture of Jesus opening up his chest and the light coming out, well, that's what his body felt like all the time. And in this day and age, we're opening up to this new consciousness. We're busting out and really need to have products that are organic and that can facilitate these dreams and this type of consciousness that we all would really like to become. If you're probably listening to this show, probably in that question that how can I become more aware?
So what came up for me when you're talking about that is, is this psychedelic? And, and yeah, it's a nootropic for sure. In fact, it's a lot of times used mixed with psychedelics because of the amazing impact it has for creating clarity. So as much as you maybe feel not psychedelic, but almost like a burst of energy where a residue or a fog or a cloud may have been lifted from parts of your consciousness. So continuing that path of obviously grounding and consuming the mushroom intentionally, it does this kind of thing where it allows you to see from your very own eyes more clearer. And it allows those veils to be lifted more often. So yeah, it's not psychedelic, but it does have some of the effects of what psychedelics have, without the psychedelic aspect. In fact, if you're someone who doesn't like to enter psychedelic realms, because a lot of us don't, this is a great opportunity to take something that gives you more clarity, allows you to hit the ball harder, so to say. And without that caffeine or agitated, anxious effect that you get with some of these nootropics.
Yeah, it's no adrenaline. That's with a lot of these caffeine acids. It's affecting your adrenals and your adrenal glands. When that's not what's going on here. Just one good time to throw out that this is not any medical advice. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a certified health practitioner, and just want to make sure we're crystal clear on that we're not giving any medical. This is not medical advice. This is a medical advice. I may not be a doctor, but I'm my doctor, and you are your best doctor. So
yeah, and sometimes you really just want to take like something like the mushroom packages and put them up to your chest, stand up straight, and see how your body feels when you're in that type of presence. And you'll know whether you gravitate to it or not. So I would do it, just do it like this, standing up straight. And literally my body will just start leaning forward. And that means in a muscle testing format that this is a good thing for me, basically. And sometimes when you lean really forward, really fast and quickly, it's really good for you. And when I do Limitless right here, that's what it does for my body. I just always feel good when I'm doing these types of things.
Feeling good. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we're talking about feeling good. We are really excited about helping our friends in the animal kingdom. We have been having amazing testimonials of success from folks that have dogs and cats, and work with folks that have racehorses. And we were actually approached by a high-end pet franchise recently who said, "Hey, are these can these be used for pets as well?" And we're going, "Absolutely, that's on our roadmap. We're getting there. We're just now ironing it out. Different supply chain situations." And apparently there was mushrooms that were available in some pet stores, but they were mysteriously bought up by some larger companies and taken off the shelves. And so all these pet owners were desperately looking for mushrooms to get on the pest because of the results that they were seeing with mushrooms. So yeah, that's always something for all of our folks out there that have pets.
So I can just sprinkle in a little bit of mushroom powder into my cat food.
Yep.
And my cats will probably eat that just a little bit.
Mhm.
And, their guts will be so much better because amazing what they're eating these days is lesser quality than we're getting. And this is just like a formula. I know when I talked to Neil about his diet, he's hardly eating anything these days.
I mean, the way I see it is like, do you fill up your car when you're not driving? Or, in the sense, like, in this times where, less is more. That's the way I see it. And our body is like a check engine light. And if it's talking to you, your intuition, you're eating from your second gut, not from your emotional gut. So there's an emotional gut, and then there's the true gut, what it needs to actually feel good. Intrinsically, not emotionally. So there's times where I feed my emotional gut, and there's times when I just feed my body so that it actually feels coherent. And so that's more the broths, and that's more of the cacao, and that's more of the mushrooms. And honestly, it really is good for the internal lymphatic system, the garbage system that's removing all the things that are no longer serving your body. So fluids, when you drink that and you have certain enzymes, like the mushrooms contain so many different ways it can break down things. It's like you want those type of fluids in your body. And that's kind of why it works so well for lymphatic drainage. If you're a cancer patient, if you have fungus issues, it can actually work on removing some of the fungus that's not serving your body, as well as the functions.
What I wanted to bring out with that is you eat so less food from a guy that is very strong, very active, does all of this physical activity and exercise, but yet it's not like you're trying to bulk yourself up with a lot of food. You're eating all of these other products that give you all of this energy.
Yeah, I mean, so I used to be 260 pounds. So, being 100 pounds lighter, you value that quantum feeling you have in your body, and you never want to kind of mess with that, right? And so, there's times when I do gain, and it's actually intentional because I want to get stronger. It's times where I lean out, and I think that's part of the cycle of the seasons of life. It's just like in the wintertime, I actually intentionally I get a gym membership and I lift some weights. And in the summertime, you'll see me out on the pickleball court more often, just leaning out and really getting that sun absorption. So it's really seasons, it's a cycle. So I think it's important.
Thank you for bringing up the diet part and the whole nourishment part there. People are using our mushrooms as a meal replacement. And then when I talk to, I've noticed this in conversations about, wait a minute, you can use this as a meal replacement? And it really made me dive in and dig deep on the actual word meal. Okay, oh, you use this as a meal replacement? Or how much are you supposed to be nourishing yourself a day to begin with? Who's the authority? Every single person's body is different. Your body has different cravings or at different stages in your life. You have different functions during the day that you're requiring this energy. And so when you're looking at okay, it's a meal replacement. Well, again, why are you nourishing yourself? I talk to people say, oh, well, because I'm hungry, or it's noon and I have to eat now, or it's at a family function and I have to eat. So, oh, well, I got to eat now. It's noon. It's programming. Whatever. It's a complete, exactly. That's a programming. Oh, noon, got to eat. Breakfast, got to eat. And it's like, I employ people. Check in with yourself. Why am I putting this in my mouth? Oh, it tastes good, or I did it's some other or oh, well, it's lunch, or it's dinner, or we have to eat, or it's we got to eat now. It's really tap in yourself. You're not hungry. You're not, and also hunger. That's really the body is not most 99% of the people that I talk to that say, oh, well, they're hungry or they're having some different challenges with whatever's going on, they said, oh, well, I need the protein or I need this nourishment. They already have it on their body. It just needs to be broken down. They're not hungry. They're dehydrated. There's an amazing book called "You're Not Hungry, You're Dehydrated." I think it's a
Mineral deficiency.
Yeah, exactly minerals, and then the DNA really, and the light energy. You're eating for the light. That's why when you see people eating these massive portions of food, it's because there's no light in them. There's no nourishment. They can eat so much of it because they have to eat so much of it to get this micro amount of energy or light. And so basically, yeah, you're using it as a meal replacement. I ask people, just check in with yourselves. Why are you doing this? Get yourself a glass of your favorite beverage. Put some of the mushrooms in there. Check in with yourselves and drink them down. And there you have it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really feel like it's when it comes down to it, like, meal replacements and all this stuff. When you become more intimate with what you want to consume, it just becomes like a more symbiotic relationship with eating, and then it also moving through your body. So I think mushrooms do a really good job of creating that network, and in terms of trauma, it's a great thing for that too. Like, people need to heal their nerves, and trauma and mushrooms, it's kind of like does that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
We've got these little branches inside us too. So
We're actually playing around with other different products. Neil and I have been playing around with a couple of things. And again, he puts the mushrooms in his beautiful blend with the cacao, and so we're looking to we just want to get the mushrooms out to as many delivery systems as we possibly can. Beverages, we're playing around with some different amazing chocolatier here, Margaret, and puts our mushrooms in brownies, etc.
you bring Margaret on?
Yeah, she's over there chatting about them now. We're live at the Third Eye Elixir Meditation Lounge, and where the magic really happens. So yeah, just helping people get into harmony with mushrooms.
Yeah.
Real simple.
And I'll just say one thing. One thing leads to another, right? So I was inspired from some of my people in Austin, Texas. One being Casa de Luz, where they literally hand touch every piece, and that's kind of what it is. Even the mushrooms are hand picked. They're all even the cacao is hand picked. It's done with human, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. When we have that connection, it's literally an intimate relationship. Yeah, we all want to be able to grow our own food, and there's one aspect. Then there's these layers, right? So if people are in love with what they're creating and the food that they're creating, you can also feel that, and that's kind of what we go back to. It's like oxytocin. Like, what are we here for? We all got 100 years. What are we going to do with that?
It's a good start. 100 years, a good start.
And if you're wondering what oxytocin means, it's basically a vibration that a mother gives to a baby. However, that's the original source of it. We create oxytocins all through our lives. So,
Yeah, it's actually a lot of times when we love, when we touch, we're sharing oxytocin. Even when we hug somebody heart to heart, there's an oxytocin connection that's happening, and it's actually proven. That's how we receive things, by touch and love, even words of affirmation, all these things.
A lot. I mean, you hear Third Eye. It's just all you hear people laughing in the background. So it's happy, loving environment here, and all the products, all the folks that serve people and help folks out. A whole lot of love here. It's where
Yeah, it's true.
it's really I really think it's the heart of Austin, Texas. I really do. We're just a couple hundred yards from the springs, which is literally why Austin was founded, because these healing waters that have been coming out of the ground since the beginning of time. Really, these nice, cold, refreshing water is life. And so around these springs, which are across the waterway from the downtown Austin, which is the fastest growing city in the United States, and has been for years. The capital political system is here for the state. The largest, one of the largest university systems in the world really is right here. There's just a lot of creativity here, live music capital, cultural hub.
Yeah.
And high tech hub.
High tech, it's huge high tech. Tesla just moved here.
And yet you got a spring fed pool that's
Right over here.
a mile long that is very powerful. It's our power source. It literally vibrates at a higher vibration. All of that runs very close to this place of Cosmos.
It's like a vortex, really. And Austin, and I say this because I've done a lot of work in my life, business, creations. This thing wouldn't happen anywhere except for Austin, truly. Like, it was very well received by the community and the people, and it's like it only gets nourished by the people around you. We're not focused on internet-based business. We've been focused on community-based business, and that's been how we've been able to create that light and really just spread it. And it's really a beautiful thing, talk about vortex. As much as I try to get away from this place and focus on other things, I can't. I love
Pulls you in. It pulls you in. That reminds me of community really is a currency. Community is it's like a money. Community is an exchange, and your community is you, really. And we are the technology. It's one of the most important decisions we make: how we nourish ourselves, who we hang out with, and this truly is a mecca hub for creativity and sharing. So thank you so much. I always
totally.
And I think this is what this whole thing with this show has been about, is that we're all integrated together. The mushrooms are one part that we are starting to understand all of this. We thought about doing this in one computer, but it seemed to be a little tight. We took two. Hopefully the feedback is not too bad. But that is one of the biggest messages of the Mycelium network, is that we're all connected. And the more that we realize that and we connect with this source that is earthbound, the better off we're going to be.
100%.
Here.
It's with that. Sorry.
So I wanted we've got a couple of minutes left. And I want y'all to think about if there was a little soundbite message you'd like to give.
Can I say one?
Let me say that parting words, and then we'll end with you guys having a last message.
All right.
This is Bart Sharp of Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. And we're out in New Orleans, but we're in Austin, Texas today at Third Eye Meditation Lounge. How you can get in touch with Neil and Stephen Stephen's is highvibemushrooms.com, and Neil's is thirdeyelounge.com.
thirdeyelounge.com, thirdeyecacao.com, and also neilryan.com.
And so if you just Google these guys, you can connect with their products. My website is bartsharp.com. And, I just really thank these guys for coming on today and sharing this message and this wild adventure. It's always an adventure to be here anyway. You never know what's going to happen when you step inside the doors of the Third Eye Lounge. And these guys are never lacking in something to say.
Thanks, Bart.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
But if there's one party message you'd like to give to everybody, what would that be?
Okay, so I created this lounge a few years ago, and I came out of Vipassana, and I was so enthralled by meditation, and I was like, I want to create a meditation center in a downtown center, and I started doing that, and it was a representation of my grandparents' apartment, which in my childhood was like the safe, beautiful place where all walks of life, regardless of race or age or anything, people came and it was beautiful, nourishment, intentional, consumption. My grandparents would go and travel from various places to get the right ingredients to make the best meals. And that's kind of what we do here. But aside from that, it's also the yoga, the meditation, the kundalini, the breath work, the somatics, the sound healing, the quantum consciousness classes that allow our consciousness to awaken and our kundalini to awaken so much so that in our mind we see from our third eye, which allows both masculine and feminine unity consciousness to be created, so we can see from a place of love. And that's kind of what we do here. And that's my piece. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neil. It's a hard act to follow, students.
No, I'm thankful for Neil. I'm glad he said all that. I'm just riding along here with him, man. I've been with him since the beginning, and this is third place now as he just grows and grows and continues to grow. And I'm his biggest fan and cheer him on. I just
had each other's biggest fans.
Yeah, I just had a vision of him. I don't know if you remember this now, like 2 years or so ago. You had a scooter in our daughter. I think she just started to stand up, and Neil has this like one of these moped scooter things, and little Coco Bunny got on and just held on, and he was driving around. So we're brothers. He was driving around on the parking lot, and just know that you are loved and supported, and you are part of the Mycelium network. You are connected energetically to everything. This sense of separation, which is, it's full on spiritual warfare going on out there, gang. It's like their kids, they're coming out like separation, this and that, this, however they can. When my parting message is, you're connected. You are connected. You're connected to Mother Earth. You're connected. There's community here. I have open arms for you. You're connected. We're happy to connect with you at High Vibe Mushrooms Limitless. Go to what we do events all the time. We're doing a festival this weekend. Come out and see us we're doing a medicine for the people. Medicine for the people. We'll be out there dishing out the mushrooms. We love doing parties. We love doing events. We love bringing the High Vibe Mushrooms Limitless. So if y'all have any events or festival, anything, we just love sharing that.
It's all out there.
It's out there. So find us. It's super easy to find. Follow us on Make Little Fun Movies on YouTube. We have Instagram. Just find us High Vibe Mushrooms. Keep it simple and reach out and say hi, and we'll hook you up.
There's a lot of passion here to make a difference in your world. And if there's an essence of a message here, it all starts in your gut. So whatever you put in your gut can change your life. So this is Bart Sharp, Becoming Quantum Conscious, and thank you, and many blessings to everybody here.
Thank you. You are loved. Have a good one.